Good evening, fellow YouTubers. It's Kenneth Powers. Welcome back to part 4 of my DVD Blu-ray update 2021 edition. Let's continue with the 2001 special edition DVD release of Dr. Strangelove, starring Peter Sellers and George C. Scott, directed by Stanley Kubrick. The film also starring Sterling Hayden, Keenan Wynn, and Slim Pickens, introducing Tracy Reed. The film itself is from 1964, rated PG, and runs 90 minutes. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. Up next is the 1999 DVD release of Collector's Edition DVD release of Liar Liar, starring Jim Carrey. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. Also starring Maura Tierney, Jennifer Tilly, Swoosie Kurtz, Amanda Donahoe, and Carrie Elways. Directed by Tom Shadyac. The film itself is from 1997, rated PG-13, and runs an hour and 27 minutes. Up next is the 2008 DVD release of Semi-Pro, starring Will Ferrell, Woody Harrelson, and Andre Benjamin. Insanely funny, says Sean Edwards of Fox TV. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. Puts the fun in Funkadelic, says Lisa. Johnson of Filmstew.com and Hollywood Productions. Also starring Maura Tierney, Will Arnett, and David Koechner. Directed by Kent Alterman. The film itself is from 2008, rated R, and runs 91 minutes. Up next we have a 4 film favorites collection, sci-fi collection, featuring Contact, Lost in Space, Red Planet, and Sphere. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. Contact stars Jodie Foster, Matthew McConaughey, James Woods, John Hurt, Tom Skerritt and Angela Bassett, directed by Robert Zemeckis. The film itself is from 1997, rated PG, and runs 150 minutes. Lost in Space stars Gary Oldman, William Hurt, Matt LeBlanc, Mimi Rogers, Heather Graham, Lacey Chabert, and Jack Johnson. Directed by Stephen Hopkins. The film itself is from 1998. Rated PG-13 and runs 130 minutes. Sphere stars Dustin Hoffman, Sharon Stone, Samuel L. Jackson, Peter Coyote, and Liev Schreiber, directed by Barry Levinson. The film itself is from 1998, rated PG-13, and runs 135 minutes. And Red Planet stars Val Kilmer, Carrie-Anne Moss, Tom Sizemore, Benjamin Bratt, Simon Baker, and Terrence Stamp. Directed by Anthony Hoffman. The film itself is from 2000, rated PG-13, runs 107 minutes. Next up is the 2010 DVD release of Death at a Funeral, starring Loretta Devine, Peter Dinklage, Danny Glover, Regina Hall, Martin Lawrence, James Marsden, Tracy Morgan, Chris Rock, Zoe Saldana, Columbus Short, and Luke Wilson. Die laughing. Chris Rock, Martin Lawrence, and Tracy Morgan are a dream team, says Jamie Philbrick of Movie Web. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. The film itself is it's directed by Neil LaBute. The film itself is from 2010, rated R, and runs 92 minutes. Up next is the 1996 DVD release of Desperado, deluxe widescreen presentation. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. Starring Antonio Banderas, Jacqueline Dialma, Salma Hayek, Steve Buscemi, Cheech Marin, and Quentin Tarantino. Desperado is the most fun you are likely to have at the movies. Explosively entertaining, says Paul Wonder of WBAI Radio. The film itself is from 1995, rated R, and runs 103 minutes. Up next is the 2005 DVD release of Alfie, starring Jude Law. Enough sizzle to melt cold steel, says Peter Travers of Rolling Stone magazine. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. Also starring Marissa Tomei, Omar Epps, Nia Long, Jane Krakowski, Sienna Miller, and Susan Sarandon. The film itself is from 2004, rated R, and runs 105 minutes. This is the French-Canadian release, by the way. Up next is the 2004 DVD release of The Deep, starring Nick Nolte, Jacqueline Bisset, and Robert Shaw. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. Solid escapist entertainment, says Variety. Also starring Lou Gossett Jr. and Eli Wallach. Directed by Peter Yates. The film itself is from 1977, rated PG, and runs 126 minutes. Up next, we have the Ultimate Edition DVD release of Stargate, starring Kurt Russell and James Spader. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. Also starring Jay Davidson and Vivica Lindfors, directed by Roland Emmerich. The film itself is from 1994, rated PG-13, and runs 119 minutes. Up next is the '2000 DVD release of The Bridge on the River Kwai, starring William Holden and Alec Guinness, winner of 7 Academy Awards, including 1957 Best Picture. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. Also starring Jack Hawkins, Sessue Hayakawa, James Donald, and Ann Sears, and introducing Jeffrey Horn. Directed by David Lean. The film itself is from 1957 and renewed in 1985. Rated PG and runs 162 minutes. Up next is the 2014 DVD release of Captain Phillips, starring Tom Hanks. From the director of The Bourne Ultimatum, Paul Greengrass, directed by Paul Greengrass, based on a true story, Hanks hits a new career peak. One of the best films of the year, says Peter Travers of Rolling Stone. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. An eruption of emotional fireworks, says Scott Foundas of Variety magazine. Also starring Barkhad Abdi. The film itself is from 2013, rated PG-13, and runs 134 minutes. Up next is we have Up next is the 2005 DVD release of Snakes on a Plane, New Line Platinum Series Edition DVD release, by the way, starring Samuel L. Jackson, a fast-paced, edge-of-your-seat thrill ride. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. Action-packed, says Pete Hammond of Maxim. Also starring Juliana Margulies, Nathan Phillips, Robbie Cannavale, Flex Alexander, Todd Luiso, Sonny Mary, Keenan Thompson, Elsa Pataky, David Koechner, directed by Sebastian Gutierrez. Directed by David R. Ellis. The film itself is from 2005, rated R, and runs 106 minutes. I have had it with these beep-ing snakes on this beep-ing airplane. Oh. Next up we have the Miramax award-winning collection DVD release of The English Patient, starring Ralph Fiennes, Juliette Binoche, Willem Dafoe, and Kristen Scott Thomas. Directed by Anthony Minghella. Winner of 9 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, 1996. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. Also starring Naveen Andrews, Colin Firth, Julian Wadham, Jürgen Prochnow. Directed, the film itself is from 1996, rated R, and runs 162 minutes. By the way, this film has Harvey Weinstein's name on it. Fuck you, Harvey Weinstein, after what you did. Next up is the 2010 DVD release of Legion. Slick and stylish and will keep you on the edge of your seat, says Chris Bellini of KPIX TV. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. Bullet blazing, action, and demon killing satisfaction, says Jamie Philbrick of Movie Web. Starring Paul Bettany, Lucas Black, Tyrese Gibson, Adrian Palicki, Charles S. Dutton, John Tenney, Kevin Durant, Willa Rowland, and Kate Walsh. And hold on a second here. And Dennis Quaid, directed by Scott Stewart. The film itself is from 2010, rated R, and runs 100 minutes. Up next is the (2011) DVD release of Safe, starring Jason Statham. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. Directed by Bose Yakin. The film itself is from 2011, rated R, and runs 95 minutes. Up next is the (2002) DVD special edition DVD release of The Producers, starring Gene Wilder and Dick Shawn, directed by Sidney Glazer. Directed by Mel Brooks, and also starring Zero Mostel. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. One of the funniest movies ever made, says Roger Ebert. The film itself is from 1968, unrated, and runs an hour and 30 minutes. The Wedding. Up next is The Wedding Singer, starring Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. It's more than just a movie. Also starring Christine Taylor, directed by Frank Karachi. The film itself is from 1997, rated PG-13, and runs 97 minutes. Up next is the 2013 DVD release of Cabaret, starring Liza Minnelli, Michael York, Helmut Grime, with Marissa Berenson and Joel Grey, winner of 8 Academy Awards, including Best Actress Liza Minnelli and Best Director Bob Fosse. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. A great movie musical made miraculously without compromises, says Pauline Kael of New Yorker. The film itself is from 1972, rated PG, and runs 124 minutes. And it's directed by Bob Fosse, by the way. We have 2 more left for this video. And up next is and Cabaret was renewed in 2000. Next is the 2010 DVD release of Bonnie and Clyde, starring Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway. Here's the front, back, and spine. Also starring Michael J. Pollard, Gene Hackman, and Estelle Parsons. Directed by Arthur Penn. The film itself is from 1967, renewed in 1995, rated R, and runs 111 minutes. 4 stars. A milestone in the history of American movies. A work of truth and brilliance. The fact that the story is set 35 years ago doesn't mean a thing. It had to be set sometime. But it was made now, and it's about us, says Roger Ebert of Chicago Sun-Times. And last but not least is the 1997 DVD release of Disclosure, starring Michael Douglas and Demi Moore. A fantastic, sexy thriller, masterfully done, says Pat Collins of WWOR-TV. Here's the front, back, and spine. Also starring Donald Sutherland, Caroline Goodall, and Dennis Miller, directed by Barry Levinson. The film itself is from 1994, rated R, and runs 129 minutes. A sheer entertainment blockbuster, says Susan China of USA Today. Well, that's going to do it for tonight. Stay tuned for part 5 and part 6 tomorrow. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you and have a good night.